Hello, hockey fans, and welcome back to Royally Quacked. You know, it's a beautiful Saturday morning. I'm back here in Cali after being in Texas for almost a week on vacation, seeing Cody's sister and my grandkids and her nice husband, Justin. So, hello, Samantha, Justin, Jackson, Sutton. You are now officially named on episode 104 of Royally Quacked.
Well, it's like they've been named on the podcast before.
I know, but hey, I'm going to tell them, hey, you got to go listen to it because I named all you guys in the introduction. So
yeah.
So how you doing, Cody?
Better now. I actually got a full night's sleep last night. The night before, I got 4 hours of sleep and then had to work and then literally came home, showered, napped, and then went and picked you guys up from the airport late last night.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. That made it so much easier than trying to leave our car down there.
Yeah.
So, and then there was such a variety of different prices to do that.
Yeah.
The ones that had the low amount were not highly rated, and the ones that were highly rated were like $40 or $50 a day. And that was 6 days. It's like an extra $300 added to your vacation for your car to sit in a 15 by 10 parking spot.
Yeah.
That's some pretty good money for that part. So anyways,
I think that's where the airlines really make their money.
Do you? I'm not sure it's them. Or do you think they own this? That's most of it.
Well, no, they probably own the main parking garage.
Well, they do, and that was one of the more expensive ones. So they make probably a ton of money on that. I know people use it all the time. So, yeah. But I was gonna do that, and then I go, dang, it's what I didn't know when I set up when we were gonna leave on Sunday is that it was the time change. So instead of getting up at 3:00, or it was really 2:00 to us. And I don't think we went to bed till, Mom was up. Mom's a night person, and it's hard for her to go to sleep early. So I went and I laid down in the living room trying to get more sleep. It didn't work. I came back, and then we finally went to sleep, and I slept decently, but still not enough. And, but we got our trip there. We had a great time. The grandkids, God, have they grown. Jax he's getting tall. We bought him shoes because their birthday's in April. We do that almost every year. We go out at spring break and spend time with them. And we bought him shoes. They were 10.5.
I was wearing 10.5s at 10.
Yeah, I remember at 9 you were wearing my cleats, my old cleats that I'd wear that were like 9.5, 10. Mm-hmm. So, Bigfoot.
I know.
You are Bigfoot.
You know what to say about a man with big feet.
Okay, I'm not going there.
Big socks.
Okay, you got me on that one. Okay.
I knew what you were gonna expect, what I was thinking. That's why I wanted to change it up.
Well, meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Yeah. But
why don't we get into news?
Well, speaking of vacations, I'll be going on vacation next week. But
yes.
We're not coming back till late Saturday night. So just a PSA announcement. There's going to be no episode 105 next week. I'm going to just do a little teaser. There'll still be an episode, just not a normal episode next week.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it.
I'm going to say it's not going to be live.
No live stream next week. It'll be a pre-recorded episode that's going to come out next week. So yeah. I just want to give everyone a heads up now.
And guys, if you think, okay, they're not going to be live, It's not going to be any good. You're going to want to hear this one.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna want to hear this one.
I'm excited for it.
It's, we've had a few people on our podcast that, were special, really special to me. Eddie Garcia. I mean, I was flabbergasted and surprised when Cody had him on, and we've had him on one or two more times, and then
we've had him on like 3 times total. I want to say.
Yeah, I want to say that. Yeah, and then we had Jesse Cohen on, and that was incredible. This is just as incredible. We're not going to spoil it. You're going to have to come back and just listen to it. It'll be Monday the 15th. It'll come out on podcast.
It'll come out. Oh, let me pull up the calendar.
No, the 23rd. Sorry, I'm thinking next week. It's a week from next week. So
yes.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
I'm still a little jet lagged.
Yeah, I think it's just normal.
Yeah, well, par for the course. Let's go.
All right. Well, back to our regular scheduled programming. We'll get into Ducks and Kings news. Definitely a lighter week on the news front, but I'll start with the Ducks news. This is what Ryan Strome stated that after being traded to Calgary. He said, and this is his words, so quote, "Tough to put into words how much I have loved playing for the Ducks. I know the team is in a better place than it was a few years ago, and I'm very proud of that. I'm going to miss all the great teammates I had at Anaheim, the fans who opened my eyes to how much hockey matters in Southern California, and all the relationships I've made the past 4 years. I always gave my best effort on and off the ice to represent the organization the best I could. And I'm looking forward to this new opportunity. Calgary, I am excited and very grateful to represent the Sea of Red and play in Canada again." Quote.
Yeah. What a great statement. I've always liked Strome.
I have always liked him too.
I mean, honestly, remember I said, Fogle and for Strome?
Yeah.
I mean, we need a center, and he's a center.
I think I'm the one that mentioned that.
I'm not sure.
But
I know I was thinking it if I didn't say it. It would have. I just think neither one of them was representing their team enough. So maybe a change of scenery for both of them not only would help their team, but also help themselves become, the player they could be. Because we know they both have it in them. They're both very good hockey players. So,
yeah. So it's like good luck in Calgary, and he did score in his first game with Calgary last week. So,
all I got to say, if he scores a game winner against the Kings, I'm going to be mad at you guys for sending him over there.
And I'd be very happy.
Yeah, unless he does it against you.
Yeah, then I'd be very sad. All right, next bit of news. This is the dramatic news that has a whole one side of Canada, one team in Canada just up in flames, pun intended, but not that team. The NHL Department of Player Safety handed Radko Gudas a 5-game suspension for a knee hit on Austin Matthews, which resulted in a season-ending MCL tear for the Leafs star. This is the maximum suspension possible via the phone hearing. So you either have a phone hearing or you have an in-person hearing. If you get a phone hearing, the most you can get is 5 games, and Gudas got the max on that. And Gudas is eligible to return on March 24th versus Vancouver for the Ducks. Wow. So, a lot of dramatic on this one. I know it kind of already spoiled one of the league news with the Matthews injury.
It was interconnected. You couldn't help it.
No, I know. But I'll just say, but Austin Matthews is done for the year with that injury. He had a grade 3 MCL tear and a quad contusion injury, and yes, he'll be done for the rest of the year. Like I said, never wanted to see Gudas hurt another player like this, especially like Austin Matthews. You don't want to see anything like this happen, but just the responses from other fans and other podcasts is just completely horrible. Like, I'm not going to name the podcast, but he literally came out and said that the next time the Ducks and Leafs play on March 30th, so at the end of this month, that they should go and target Leo Carlson and other Ducks players. So,
Wow.
there's a huge difference between a hockey play and prematurely going after someone before anything even else happened. And that's just 100% wrong. I hope he didn't mean what he said. I really hope not. But for him to even come out and say that, like, we've all seen our players get injured and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I don't hear any Kings fans wanting to go and see anyone injure Alex Ovechkin because Tom Wilson hurt Fiala at the Olympics. Even though it really wasn't Tom Wilson's fault. It was just a weird collision in general.
Yeah, well, what happened to Drew last year in the preseason? Broke his ankle.
Remember how he got the injury.
It was up against the boards, and a guy hit him there. I didn't see anything dirty. It's just it was a weird circumstance that happened. And how do you really know what somebody else is thinking when it happens? I mean, you're talking about the most elite athletes in the world playing this game, and a lot of them are. I mean, in comparison to probably 20 years ago, most of them are in better shape than ever. They're stronger, they're faster. The technology with the equipment and everything else. I mean, they're playing, and everybody's trying to win the game. I mean, you can tell sometimes when it's intentional, and I did not see the play with Gudas, but you can't go knee to knee no matter what. And I mean, I think the suspension is definitely fair, but to have someone want to target somebody else and have an injury like that is just, that's ridiculous. I mean, absolutely.
I'm not going to I'm not going to name names, but them just coming, and let's just say it's a very famous Leafs podcast. That's all I'm going to say.
Well,
and Ducks fans, I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen everyone reposting what he said and how he's saying bad words about him even mentioning that. Like, how can you even say that kind of thing? Like, that's the only thing that really pissed me off about this. And like I said, and I'm actually going to also skip forward to one of the questions we had because it has to do with this. From McKenna_Waldman on Instagram, see message saying, do you think Radko Gudas should have been suspended for more than 5 games? Yes, he should have. It was not a safe play. It wasn't a very good defensive play. And yeah, so I think Gudas should have probably gotten, I want to say, up to 10 games. Like the max, 10 games. And everyone's saying he should have been done for the season. I mean, I've seen a lot worse plays that did not even get 5 games.
So it was all done in a transition play.
Yeah.
And obviously we know that Radko isn't quite as fast or talented as Austin is. Austin made a move. He tried to stay with it. They hit knee to knee. Now, to me, and this is, I didn't even see this play, but Malkin hit somebody in the head with a stick.
Yeah, and that was on purpose.
Yeah,
and
see,
then
that is so much more worse than something that kind of happened because you're trying to be competitive. There's totally two different things here, and we lost Fiala on a play that was, some people thought it was dirty. I think it was bad timing. It just happened.
Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Tom Wilson. I respect his game. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I didn't think that was dirty at all. I think it was just the name and how, and they saw, oh, Tom Wilson hit Fiala injury. Let's go after Tom Wilson. I was watching. I'm like, no, I didn't think what Tom Wilson did was bad for that. What Radko Gudas did was bad. I will say that. Like, he could have played that so much better. Like, he was caught in a bad spot, and he made it so much worse for the choice he made. So, yes, I think Gudas should have gotten more than 5 games. I think it should have been 10. It should have been around 10 games.
Well, I think I can think of a whole lot worse things, and they were in actually 2 other sports. I believe it was Juan Marshall, and I think he's a Hall of Famer. He hit Roy Campanella in the head with a bat. You had Kermit Washington, who played for the Los Angeles Lakers, turn around and just basically crush in the face of Rudy Tomjanovich. Now, he got 30-day suspension or 30-game suspension on that, and very much that was, he could have been done for the year as far as I'm concerned. He just turned around and hit him. And Kermit Washington was, that Buffy big forward. He was an okay player, but he wasn't like a superstar. And Rudy Tomjanovich was a star. I think it was Houston Rockets back then, and crushed in his face. Now that really deserves punishment. And I don't think, like I said, what happened with Matthews, I don't think Gudas was going, hey, I'm going to take him out. And to come back and say stuff like that, I just think is wrong. And I hope somebody reprimands this guy. I hope Toronto, somebody in the Toronto organization goes over and says, dude, you cannot say that. What happens if a similar play with Leo Carlson, when they play that game, and then he tears ligaments in his knee, but it wasn't intentional. It was a play, just like what happened with Gudas and Matthews. These things are going to happen, and we don't have complete control over those things, especially when they're trying to make competitive plays. And you got these guys on skates, and they're going pretty fast when they're skating.
Yeah.
And they hit knee to knee. So, we got to worry about what we can control. And most time, the only thing we can control is how we react to stuff. And it's a work. It's a hard thing to do. Sometimes you don't control it. And then it just becomes worse. So, my dad always told me, you can't worry about what you can't control. Yeah. And he goes, the only thing you can control is how you react. And I try to remember that, and I'm still not very good at it. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm not very good at it. Sometimes it just, your heat, passion all gets in there, and the wrong thing is done, said, and obviously I think that happened with Kermit Washington. It was a very physical game. He was upset. He turns around and punches the guy in the face, and the guy was out for couple months. He had to have reconstructive surgery on his face. He actually did coach the Lakers for, I think, 2 seasons after his career was over. But let's move on to something else.
Yeah. So, like I said, what Gudas did was bad. Yes. Deserved penalty or suspension. Yes. Did he deserve more? I believe so. Yes. So
yeah, I agree. I agree with all that.
And what that other podcast said was horrible.
Yeah.
All right, and then last bit of Ducks news. According to CBS Sports, Terry remains out until at least March 15th with an upper body issue. So he could be back hopefully within this next week.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow's the 15th. I don't know why I did not think it was the 15th.
It's been a crazy week.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on to Kings news. A little levity to go after talking about all that stuff with the knee-to-knee thing. After buying a Rolex for Bailey and doing a photo shoot playing 5 games for the Kings, Panarin switches his number from 72 to 10. Thank you for the trade for Perry to Tampa Bay for that. But now Bailey's number 72 again. And actually, Panarin, it's the number he wanted all along. And speaking about numbers, Matthew Joseph is wearing number 17, and Scott Lawton will wear number 21. And if you know anything, that's my favorite number. And he's actually played really well with sorry, I just looked at comments. That kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're not going to repeat any of that. Now, let's go on to some good Kings news. LA Kings captain Anze Kopitar is now just 1 point away from tying Marcel Dionne for the most points in Kings franchise history. On top of that, he did surpass Marcel Dionne. I mean, Kopitar had 221 goals and 387 assists for 608 points, while Dionne had 262 goals, 345 assists for 607 for the most road points in Kings history. So I didn't even know that was a stat. Thank you, Cody, for popping that into my news. I
just saw it this morning. So we got people. We have some comments from Lonely Girl, D6Y. We're both happily married, and we'll leave it at that.
Well, I got to throw this in because this is funny to me. Just, Cody, you look dashing. Gary, you look smart. I like it.
So, all right. On to league news. Since you probably don't know what I'm going to talk about on this first one. The U.S. they had the USA 2 women and 2 men from the USA Olympics gold medal teams. Yeah, they had Megan Keller and Hillary Knight with Jack Hughes and Quinn Hughes. Because they had the heated rivalry star Connor Story on Saturday Night Live.
Sorry.
So, and I'm going to tell you this. Megan Keller and Hillary Knight were a lot better with their lines than Quinn and Jack were. Like, you could tell the girls were fluid with their words. You know, they're very comfortable up there, and Jack and Quinn just looked, you could tell they were reading cue cards and they were having a hard time acting.
Hi, my name is Jack Hughes. This is my brother, Quinn.
That's pretty much what it was.
We are hockey players. Hey, there's a hot girl that just made a post.
Yeah.
Your mom said we can ignore that. So let's move on.
There we go. So like I said, it was, I did like how the girls did say, like, oh yeah, we were here and we thought we would invite the guys along. Like I said, I loved it and I knew what it was towards. I thought it was hilarious. But I can tell you this, the girls were a lot better with their lines than than Jack and Quinn were.
Do you think maybe that was all part of it? That they kind of did that so the girls had, because we all know what happened.
I really think that the girls are just better at acting than Jack and Quinn are.
Well, they're definitely passionate because they felt like they got slighted, and they did. And if you want to talk about the most dominating hockey team at this year's Olympic, it was definitely USA Women. They were incredibly great team.
Yeah.
They should be very proud of that accomplishment. And but it was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I did see it. So
okay. All right. You want to say the next bit of news on the league?
Yeah, the Utah Mammoth have signed Nick Schmaltz to an 8-year, $8 million AAV contract extension. Congratulations, Nick. You deserved it. You played well.
Yeah, and just another UFA off the boards for this year's free agent class. It's really looking worse and worse. Yeah, there's literally gonna be like nobody left, and I feel like we're gonna see more trades than signings this year.
Well, that's it's funny is the Kings. They're more of a trade team than a big, huge free agent that comes in.
Well, there are no huge free agents this year.
Well, I know, but they never sign a huge they didn't sign Gretzky. They traded for him. Fiala was a trade. I mean, you think of the better players in the past. They were all got. I mean, Marcel Dion was a trade. So, anyways, yeah, I like Schmaltz. He would have been a great pickup for either one of our teams if he would have been available. So, yeah. Let's go to the next bit of news, Cody. That's yours.
Yep. The NHL has modified the penalty against the Ottawa Senators for the invalidated Evgeny Dadonov trade. So, if you guys don't remember, so Dadonov got traded from Ottawa to Vegas, and Vegas was trying to do some salary dump. So they made a trade with the Ducks where Dadonov and a second-round pick got traded to the Ducks for future considerations. So the Ducks would have taken Dadonov's cap hit,
right?
Because this was like 2022, I want to say 2023. I can't remember exactly which year it was, but Dadonov had a no trade clause. Vegas did not know he had a no trade clause. It was Ottawa's. Ottawa was supposed to tell Vegas about that, and the Ducks were on his no trade list, so he was able to say, "No, I'm not getting traded to the Ducks because they're on my no trade list." So the Senators pretty much got in trouble for not telling Vegas about the no trade list. So originally, they were supposed to lose. They had the choice of losing their 2024. Or 2025 or 2026 draft pick. Well, they didn't lose their 2024. They didn't lose their 2025. So this is the last year they were going to lose their first round pick, and that was under that whole trade thing happened. They were under a different ownership, different GM, and everything. So it's like a whole new regime, new owner, new GM. And they were saying like, hey, this happened with the last, front office, not us. So why are we getting punished? Kind of thing. He's like, I just spent all this money, and then this is how you guys are gonna treat me. I buy this team, and this is how you're gonna treat me. So now the Senators will now pick 32nd overall in the upcoming draft, no matter where they finish in the standings. So instead of forfeiting their first round pick entirely, they'll just have the number, and they can't trade it away. They have to pick. That's their pick. So, and if they win the lottery, it's going to get redrawn again. So because they have to pick 32nd overall no matter what, and then they paid like a $1 million fine on top of it.
Oh, we're glad that's over with.
So there's that news.
Yeah,
And we already skipped, and you can skip the next one because
we
already
we
talked about
already talked about Austin Matthews. Sharks have signed forward Ty Dellandria.
Ty Dellandria
To a 2-year extension for $1.625 million AAV. Sometimes I wonder, it's so much money, it's round down or round up. But I guess, that's $250,000 on that 2.5.
Yeah. The NHL has announced that 2026 Global Series games will take place in Dusseldorf, Germany on December 18th and December 20th between the Ottawa Senators and the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, here's the thing. Actually, I want to look up why the Chicago Blackhawks. I can understand Ottawa because they have Stützle, and he's from Germany. But why? I don't think Chicago has anyone from Germany. Let's see, roster.
So while you're doing that, I'll go on to the next bit of news.
Go for it.
Senators defender Jake Sanderson is out week to week with an upper body injury. Yes, I know that hurts me. He's on my fantasy team. And I'll just hit the last one while you're still looking that up.
Go for
Kraken forward Jaden Schwartz is out indefinitely with an upper body injury. And Cody can finish up what.
So there's not one player from Germany on that team. Like, I don't know, why didn't they do like the Red Wings with Sider or Edmonton with Draisaitl? Like, why Chicago? Is it because Bedard? That Germany wants to see Bedard, but I mean, you could have sent Edmonton over there, and they could have seen Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. You could have sent the Red Wings over there. They're also a original six franchise, and they have Moritz Seider, someone from Germany. I don't get some of these things that NHL does, but then again, I believe the teams can say no if they don't want to do it. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe Edmonton and Detroit's like, no, we don't want to go to Germany. So I don't know. I don't understand it, but I hope they're good games. So, and then so we're done with league news.
I think we're done.
Okay, cool. You have more games to talk about this week, so you go first.
Okay, let's talk. And this was, I believe, last Saturday, right? Yes, last Saturday they played Montreal at the Staples Center. The game started off pretty good for the Kings. Let's just get to the scoring real quick here.
So why are you doing that? I'm not knocking Germany. I'm knocking the choices of teams that are going there. That's it.
Oh, Captain Chaos strikes again. He should come up with a little introductory or something like that. Captain Chaos.
It has to sound more like evil sounding.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, yeah, don't do that for too long. We'll get in trouble with YouTube.
I'm done. Okay, we'll go to the first period. The Kings start off the scoring with the captain, Anze Kopitar, with a seventh goal. Kopitar from Adrian Kempe, his 30th assist, and Panarin his 43rd assist at the 14-12 mark, and the Kings are up 1-0. And that's how the first period actually ended, with the Kings winning. But we seem to do that a lot and then kind of lose it later. So in the second period, at the 3:09 mark, Jake Evans from Montreal gets his 9th, from Kirby Dach his 6th, and Pulduk his 16th. And it's tied 1-1. And don't know how to say his first name, but Slavaski gets his 22nd from Suzuki, his 52nd assist, and Carrier is 13th at the 1541 mark. And it's now 2-1 Montreal. Then recently traded for Scott Lawton, number 21, gets his 9th from Jared Wright, his first, and Brant Clark, his 25th, and the game is tied 2-2. Lawton's played really well since getting picked up by the Kings. So I've always liked him as a player. In the second period, 2-2. Then Alex Laferriere gets his 16th from Clark is 26th, and Moore is 10th at the 6:44 mark to put the Kings up 3-2. But then on the power play, Slavaski gets his 23rd from Lane Hudson, his 53rd, and Nick Suzuki, his 53rd, at the 14:38 mark, and it's tied 3-3. Then Nick Suzuki gets his 21st from Slavaski, his 29th, and Caulfield is 27th at the 15:27 mark. Montreal makes the comeback and wins the game 4-3. Let's go to the stats. Here we go. The Kings outshoot Montreal 39-23. That's a wide margin. Face-off 51.1% for Montreal. The Kings 48.9%. The Canadians were 1-for-1 on the power play. Kings were 0-for-3. On hits, the Kings 32, Montreal 21. Blocks, 16 for Montreal, 13 for the Kings. Giveaways, Kings had 13 giveaways to Montreal's 10. Takeaways, Kings had 8-3. Let's go to the 3 stars of the game. And Brant Clark was the 3rd star with 2 assists. Nick Suzuki was the 2nd star with a goal and 2 assists. And Slavaski was the number 1 star with 2 goals and 1 assist. Now on to your game, Cody.
All right. So we're going to start with a really crappy game from last week. The Ducks got blanked by St. Louis. What the hell?
Was it Hofer or was it Bennington?
It was Hofer.
Oh, I think he might take over number 1 there.
Yeah. He's definitely been the better of the two, but still not. I know his stats aren't that much better, but he is better. But the Ducks, honestly, it wasn't just Hofer playing well. I mean, he played good, but not like I wouldn't say the Ducks got goal lead. I would say the Ducks just plain sucked this game. You know, it was like just every time they were in the offensive zone, it was like, all right, we'll get a shot on goal, and then that's it. It was like we didn't have any offensive zone time. Like we got, if anything, we got, like I said, 1 shot. There was no like second chance shots. You know, it was horrible. There was no scoring in the first period. Kyrou scored at the 4:22 mark to make it 1-0. Jonathan Drouin scored on the power play to make it 2-0. And then Jimmy Snuggerud scored to make it 3-0. And that was all within less than 10 minutes of each other. And then the third period on the empty netter, Pius Suter scored and made it 4-0. And that was at the 5:58 mark. So the Ducks pulled their goalie really early in this one. Here are the stats. Shots on goal 35-22. The Ducks won the faceoff percentage 58-42. But here's the thing. The Ducks were 0-for-5 on the power play, while St. Louis was 1-for-3. Hits, 20 hits for the Ducks, 8 for St. Louis. 16 block shots for the Ducks, 14 for St. Louis. 18 giveaways for the Ducks, 16 for St. Louis, and 5 takeaways for the Ducks, and 2 for St. Louis. Like, the Ducks just could not get anything going this game. They looked like they were just slow. Like, they were getting beat to the pucks, the 50-50 pucks. They were just getting beat everywhere. It was just not a very good game in general. Like, I would say, I think was it Husso that was in net this one? I believe it was Husso. Let me double check. Yeah, Husso wasn't in. Like I said, it wasn't Husso's fault in this one. I'm not blaming Husso at all. The Ducks just the team just played horrible. I mean, we got outshot in every single period. 13-7, 13-8, 9-7. Like, you can't be getting outshot like that by, especially where the Blues are at. You know?
Yeah.
But now the series is tied 1 game apiece for the Ducks and Blues. So the Ducks will play the Blues back in Anaheim on April 3rd. And the 3 stars of the game is, I don't know why even as a Duck is on here, but Jackson Lacombe is the number 3 star. No goals, no assists, no points. Snuggerud is the number 2 star with the 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. And Holfer is the number 1 with the shutout. So, yeah, I'm glad I don't have to talk about this game anymore. So let's move on to the next one.
So we go to Columbus to play the Blue Jackets. And starting off the scoring, Scott Lawton with his 10th, from Dumoulin his 13th, and Turcotte his 10th at the 6:46 mark. And the Kings are up 1-0. Then Artemi Panarin gets his 21st from Hellenius, his 3rd at the 14:48 mark. And the Kings are up 2-0. Then Columbus gets on the board with Connor Garland getting his 8th from Monahan, his 19th, and Provorov his 18th at the 17:35 mark. And after 1 period, the Kings are up 2-1. Then Columbus ties it up. Denton, Chuck, with his 10th from Lundestrom. Is that Isaac Lundestrom from the Ducks? Yeah, I think it is.
Columbus, yep.
Yeah, with his 6th assist, and Jenner with his 20th at the 10:53 mark, and we're all tied up. Then Connor Garland gets his 9th from Mateychuk, his 16th at the 12:13 mark. Is that correct saying that?
Mateychuk.
Mateychuk, thank you. So that now it's Columbus is up 3-2. Then Adrian Kempe gets his 24th from Anze Kopitar's 20th, and Brian Dumoulin is 14th at the 14:09 mark. And after 2 periods, it is 3-3. We go to the 3rd, and Brian Dumoulin gets his 2nd from Anderson his 9th, and Lawton his 5th at the 10:07 mark to tie or put the Kings up 4-3. Then Marchenko gets his 23rd on the power play from Rudzinski his 46th, and Charlie Coyle is 34th at the 18:04 mark, and the game is tied. You know, it's amazing that Rudzinski isn't more talked about in this game. He usually is a king killer. So we go to overtime, and 2 minutes and 34 seconds. The game's over when Adrian Kempe gets his 25th from Panarin his 44th assist, and Doughty his 13th, and the Kings win the game 5-4. Let's go to the stats. The Kings dominated the faceoff circle at 65.7% to 34.3. But once again, the power play does not work for the Kings. They're 0 for 3, and the Blue Jackets are 1 for 4. Then let's go to hits. It's the Kings 25-12. It seems like ever since Hiller's gone, the hits have gone up. Block shots 13 for the Kings, 18 for the Blue Jackets. Giveaways 18 by the Kings, 15 by the Blue Jackets. Takeaways were 4 apiece. Let's go to the 3 stars of the game. And I think I would have done this just maybe slightly different. The 3rd star was Adrian Kempe with 2 goals. The number 2 star was Connor Garland with 2 goals. And the number 1 star, Brian Dumoulin, with a goal and 2 assists. I might have put Kempe because he had the game winner as the number 1 star. maybe I would have pushed Garland to the third star and Dumoulin the second star. That's just me though. And that's game 2 from last week.
On to the Ducks game for number 2 of the last week. A much better played game this one. I will say that. The Ducks were just like the complete opposite of against the Blues. Dominating in the offensive zone, playing very, very good defense in this one. I said, I know I'm going to say play very good defense, but yet we give up the first goal again. Morgan Barron gets the scoring started at the 5:04 mark in the second period on a tip-in shot. But Tim Washi, and this was a very good grinding fourth line goal. He gets it on a rebound, and as in they said in Mighty Ducks D3, you clean up the trash, and that's exactly what Tim Washi did. He gets his second goal of the year. That was Harkin's 4th assist and Radko Gudas' 11th assist of the year, and we're tied 1 apiece at the 6:24 mark. And then Ryan Poehling, 14 seconds later, scores his 8th of the year on a nice tip-in shot. Killorn with his 13th assist and Lacombe's 37th assist, and it's 2-1 Anaheim. And then at the 8:08 mark, Alex Killorn gets on the board with a wrist shot at the 8:08 mark, and it's 3-1 Anaheim now. And Poehling got the assist on that one, and that was his 19th assist. And then the Blues pull their goalie in the third period, and Jackson Lacombe gets the empty netter, his 8th goal of the year. Trouba with his 21st assist and made it 4-1 Anaheim. Now, here's the thing that very impressed me about the Ducks this game. The shots on goal. All right. In the first period, the Ducks outshot them 8-2. Second period, 20-5. Third period, 7-6. So the Ducks outshot them 35-13. I think Dostal was very bored this game. And I see in the Instagram live chat, we have Wilderness reporting live from the Ottawa game. And he says, "Go Ducks." I appreciate your reporting live, but please don't spoil the game for me. I don't like to be spoiled for the games. And we got the Mighty Ducks Club in the chat saying, "Let's go, Cody." What up, Mikey? I love you, man.
Hey, Mikey.
Here's the other stats for the game. The Ducks were not very good in the face-off this time. 57-43. Again, 0-for-2 on the power plays. So far, we're 0-for-7 on power plays just in the last week. But again, Winnipeg was also 0-for-3. Hits, 15 apiece. Block shots, 12-11 in favor of the Jets. Giveaways, 13-12 in favor of Anaheim. And 4-3 on takeaways in favor of the Ducks. And the Ducks sweep the season series against the reigning President Trophy winners, the Winnipeg Jets. So, and I believe, and the 3 stars of the game, you had Morgan Barron was a number 3 star with the 1 goal. Ryan Poehling was your number 2 star with the 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. And then Alex Killorn was your number 1 star with the 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points as well.
All right. Now on to Boston. And this was a defensive battle most of the game. In fact, we didn't even get anyone to score until the third period. And Mason Laurie scores at the 8:22 mark from Lindholm, his 18th, and Arvidsson, ex-King, his 18th, to put Boston up 1-0. Then at the 14-minute mark, Drew Doughty gets his 4th from Moore, his 11th, and Kempe his 31st, and we are tied to 1-1. And this is a pretty quick game because there isn't a whole lot of scoring. We go to overtime. And basically, I think there was only like 39 seconds left in overtime, and Charlie McAvoy basically gets a breakaway, gets it past Kemper from Pasternak, his 53rd, and Kostelic his 9th. And Boston wins in overtime 2-1. Let's go to the stats. Let's give me a second here. Boston really did kind of dominate this game, 23 shots to 16. They won the faceoff circle 55.1 to 44.9. Boston was 0 for 4 on the power play. We were 0 for 2. We had 22 hits. They had 21, 17 block shots for us, the 13 for the Bruins. Giveaways were 16 Bruins, 12 Kings, and takeaways 5 for the Kings, 4 for the Bruins. The 3 stars, Darcy Kemper was the number 3 star with a 913 save percentage and a 1.99 goals against average. Number 2 star was Jeremy Swayman with a 0.99 goals against and a 938 save percentage. And the number 1 star with the game winner, Charlie McAvoy. And that's it.
Adam says, spoiler alert, there is no game news at this time.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, I have on my phone on Do Not Disturb, so that way I don't see any spoilers. All right. Ducks' last game started very well for the Ducks. First period, 20 shots on goal to Toronto's 8. And here's the scoring in the first period. Matias Michelli gets his 14th of the year to make it 1-0 Toronto. Again, Ducks cannot score first for some reason. All right, but Cutter Gauthier gets his 33rd of the year and ties it up at the 12-19 mark. Chris Kruger with his 19th assist and the Combs' 38th assist. And so we're tied 1-1. And then Ian Moore gets on the board with his 4th goal. Jansen Harkins with his 5th assist. So it's 2-1 Anaheim after 1. And then Pavel Minchikov in the second at the 2:55 mark gets his 8th goal of the year. Paling's 20th assist of the year and VL's 2nd assist. So it's 3-1 Anaheim at the 2:55 mark. And then things went downhill. And for some reason, the Ducks could not stay out of the penalty box. They were taking a bunch of stupid penalties, but I know I've said this many times. The refs were really bad in this game. I saw about 10 hooks and holds against Toronto and no calls. Like we can't be getting away with that stuff. Like, and there was a couple like horrible blatant ones. Mom says, I'm okay with not scoring first as long as we score last. I mean, yes, I'd prefer them to get leads and hold leads. And I agree, like, as long as we're the ones winning at the end, if they score first, that's fine. I mean, you can still score last and lose, technically. Like in this game, we scored last and still lost. Austin Matthews on the power play gets his 27th of the year, so it's 3-2 Anaheim. And then that's when the Austin Matthews injury, Radko Gudas penalty came up, and it was a 5-minute major, got kicked out. So Toronto had 5 minutes of a full power play, and they definitely took advantage of it. Tavares at the 16:26 mark on the power play ties it up 3 apiece. And then they were still on it in the third period. Power play for William Nylander, 4-3 Toronto, and that was a 36-second mark. And then the Ducks get a power play, and we give up a goal. Former Duck legend Bo Grew gets his first goal of the year, his 2nd career goal, and it's, of course, against the Ducks. He scored 1 for the Ducks, and he scored 1 against the Ducks. So now we're down 5-3. And then Matthew Nyes on the empty netter at the 18-12 mark gets his 17th of the year. So it's 6-3 Toronto. And then Alex Killorn gets what we call a garbage time goal. It made it 6-4 Toronto. Like, we can't be taking that many stupid penalties in during this time. Like, this is a game the Ducks should have won. Like, before this game, you want to hear an interesting stat, Dad?
Sure.
You know, the Seattle Seahawks had a more recent win than the Toronto Maple Leafs before this game.
No.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what happened. Like I said, the Ducks were horrible. And like I said, 0 for 5 on the power play. 0 for 5. We were what? 0 for 12 in 3 games. The power play has to be better. We got to score goals on the power play. You're not going to get far in the playoffs if you can't score power play goals. Here's the shots on goal. 20 shots for the Ducks, 28 for the Leafs. The Ducks got lost in the faceoffs, 56 to 44. Again, 3 for 7 on the power play for Toronto. Like I said before, the Ducks were 0 for 5. Hits, 34 hits for Toronto, 15 for Anaheim, 13 block shots for Toronto, 9 for the Ducks, 21 giveaways for Toronto, 9 for the Ducks, 6 takeaways for the Leafs, 7 for the Ducks. And the Ducks, this was the first game against the Leafs. And then we played them again on March 30th. And this one will be back in Anaheim. 3 stars of the game is Bo Grew with his 1 shorthanded goal, is the number 3 star. Bocelli is the number 2 star with the 1 goal, 2 assists for 3 points. And then Matthew Nyes, 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points is your number 1 star. All right. I'm glad I don't have to talk about this game anymore because we talked about it a lot earlier, but the whole Matthews Gudas situation.
Yeah. All right. My last game from last week, we're at the New York Islanders. Let's start with the scoring in the first period. Trevor Moore gets his 8th unassisted at the 3:33 mark, and the Kings are up 1-0. Then at the 13:07 mark, Anze Kopitar gets his 8th from Anderson, his 10th, and Turcotte his 11th, and it's 2-0 Kings. Then at the 18:28 mark, Adrian Kempe gets his 26th from Panarin, his 45th assist, and it's 3-0 Kings after 1 period. We seem to have really good first periods and then just kind of tail off as the game goes on. So we'll go to the second period, and Heineman gets his 17th from Pelech, his 9th, and Horvat his 18th at the 10:46 mark, and now it's 3-1 Kings. Then Heineman gets his 2nd goal of the game, his 18th of the season from Matthew Schaefer, his 28th, and Horvat his 19th at the 3:38 mark. And it's 3-2 Kings. That's how the scoring ends. Kings win the game 3-2. Let's go to the stats. Kings outshoot the Islanders 27-23. Faceoffs. Islanders 58.7% to 41.3 for the Kings. Both teams went 0 for 3 in the power play. Hits were tied 23 apiece. Kings had 23 block shots, Islanders 14. Giveaways, it was 11 for the Kings, 9 for the Islanders, and takeaways 5 for the Islanders, 4 for the Kings. Let's go to the 3 stars of the game. Trevor Moore, the 3rd star with a goal. Heineman with 2 goals as the 2nd star, and the number 1 star, the captain, Anze Kopitar with a goal, and that finishes off the season. Or that season, the week, I should say. Sometimes it feels like the season should be over.
Yeah. Adam says, so much for trying to get Matthews to Anaheim now. I mean,
I have not even ever heard. I heard the Kings were interested.
I have heard the Ducks, but more recently it's been Kings more than Ducks.
Here's the thing. What do you gotta trade to get him?
Here's the thing.
Would you trade Carlson in that trade?
Nope.
Would you trade Gauthier in that trade?
No.
Would you trade Lacombe in that trade?
Yes.
Okay. But you know it's gonna be more than that for Matthews.
The thing is, like, Matthews is a franchise player and everything, but I don't know. With his injury, like I know this last injury is not his fault, but even before that, he was always having injury issues. So like I said, it's and like I said, he doesn't really perform in playoffs as well, too. We have another chat. The Gudas suspension is a joke. He deserved the suspension. I'm not doubting that. It was a stupid, careless play on Gudas's part, but it's getting more blown out of proportion just because of which team it was against more. And the Toronto fans aren't making it better. But like I said, I don't know. I rather not spend the farm just to go get he's talking about that one. He's saying the Gudas suspension should have been for the rest of the season. Nah, I don't think I've ever seen a suspension that long for something like that. It shouldn't have been 10 games max is what I would have said. But like I said, I don't know. Matthews is always hurt. He doesn't perform well in the playoffs. He struggled in the Four Nations. He was a lot better in the Olympics. I will say that. But like, I don't know. He hasn't been. His play has definitely slowed down the last couple years.
I think this season losing Marner might have hurt.
Yeah.
You know, because Marner is a big assist guy, and Matthews is a goal scorer.
Yeah.
So, what are you smiling about, Cody?
No, Christina's walking in here in the office. All right, you want to get into game predictions?
Yeah, because we got a lot. So realizing we're going to be doing 2 weeks of predictions.
Yep.
So
you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Go for it.
So today they're playing the Devils. I have them losing 4-3 to the Devils. Then Monday they'll play in New York against the Rangers. I have them winning that game 5-2. Then Thursday they're in Philadelphia to play the Flyers. I have them winning 5-4. Then a week from today they'll be playing the Buffalo Sabres at home. And I have them losing that game 6-3. Buffalo is all of a sudden turned into some kind of powerhouse. They're fighting for the conference lead against Tampa Bay up there.
Yeah.
And then next Sunday we're playing the Utah Mammoth, and they're playing well. And I have them losing that game 5-3. Then Tuesday the 24th will be at Calgary. I have us winning that game 5-4. And then the 24th, they're at the Vancouver to play the Canucks. I have the Kings winning that game 6-4. And those are my predictions.
All right, my predictions. You know the Sabres are number 1 in the Atlantic right now.
Oh, did they? You know, I did not know that. I know they were right there with Tampa Bay.
So, we'll go over more later. They have 86 points. Tampa Bay, has 84, but Tampa Bay has also played 2 less games.
Yeah.
So, all right, on to my predictions. So I already predicted today's game last week. I said, what, 5-3 win for the Ducks?
5-2. 5-2. Yeah.
All right, so the Ducks play the Canadiens tomorrow in Canada. And it's game number 67, and I'm predicting a 4-3 loss against the Canadiens. On Wednesday, the Ducks play against the Philadelphia Flyers, and I'm predicting a 5-2 win. And I want to add something to this game. So You know how when the Ducks play in Philly, like the last 2 years, they just go after Cutter. Well, I want things to change. I want on Wednesday to be the loudest game the pond has ever seen or heard. I don't want boos. I don't want anyone booing anyone, on that team. I want us just to cheer as loud as possible for the Ducks. Every time Cutter gets the puck, just everyone starts screaming. And like I said, don't boo Zegras. What he did was wrong, but let's make it like he misses being in Anaheim instead of thinking he made the right decision to leave. Like I want us to be loud and proud to be Ducks fans on Wednesday against the Flyers. Like how they do more. Like Philadelphia fans, they were always booing. They're saying "F you, Cutter." No, we're not doing any of that. I just want us to be loud and proud of the Ducks and just be super happy at this game. Like I said, I want it to be the loudest as possible. So like I said, I'm gonna be out of town, so I will not be able to attend the game. But that's just what I want. So, next game is Friday, game number 69. The Ducks will go to Utah and face against the Mammoth. And I'm predicting a 6-5 win for the Ducks on that one. On Sunday, the Ducks will host the Sabres for game number 70, and I'm predicting a 4-2 loss on that one. On Tuesday, let's see, the Ducks are game number 71. The Ducks are doing a little Western Canadian trip, and they're going to Vancouver. I'm predicting a 5-2 win. And then on Thursday, game number 72, the Ducks are in Calgary, and I'm predicting a 4-3 win.
Okay, so we got our predictions down.
Yep.
You have the Ducks going 5-2.
Yeah, if you include the Senators.
Yeah, and I've got the Kings going 4-3. And that knee-on-knee hit could have been more deliberate from Card Hut. I didn't see that it was deliberate. I just think he was trying to stay in front of him.
All I can say is, if Gudas wanted to really hurt Matthews, he wouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah. And I don't think we have any bias because I'm really not a Toronto fan. I mean, I do respect the play of Austin Matthews. It doesn't really I don't think that factors in that I would have any bias towards that. I mean, I didn't think, when Drew went out in that preseason game that was, get rid of the guy forever for something like that. And, hey, you can say whatever you want. The Ducks sucks. They're in first place, so you can say that all you want.
I'm saying this, like, the Sharks have been great to watch this year. Like I said, Celebrini's been so fun to watch. He's my heart winner. If I had to choose someone to win the heart, it would be Celebrini, because like what he's doing on that team is just, it's amazing. Because like it literally says in the most valuable to their team, and who's more valuable to their team than Celebrini to the Sharks?
Incredible talent. Fun to watch play. I guess everybody could have an opinion, of what they think, and he obviously has his opinions, and so we disagree.
Yeah.
I can tell you I'm not blind, by the way. I find that a little offensive, a little harsh. But I'm not going to fight back at that because it's your opinion.
Yeah.
You have a right for it. So, but that's okay. I would just throw out, you guys were up 3-0 in 2014 on us, and we won 4 straight and went on and won the Stanley Cup. You can yell at me all you want when the Sharks actually win a cup. All right, that is that simple enough said.
At least our teams have won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Like I said, he has an opinion. He doesn't have to really not said one nice thing to us about on this whole thing.
Yeah, that's all right.
So, but we like.
We've heard a lot worse.
Yeah, but I actually said what you said on the comments, and I repeated it, and I could say I don't agree with you, but I would bet when it came to the Sharks, you're biased too. So,
like when he was saying that hit he should have been suspended. When have we ever seen a suspension more than 10 games? When was the last time we saw something like that?
I can't remember.
I mean, we literally saw Tom Wilson shove Panarin's face into the ground and cross-check his face in the ice, and I don't think he even got, I think he got maybe 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, what in the playoffs? In the playoffs, was it Nurse? Byfield went down, face down. Then he checked him with a stick in the back. After that, and what did he get? A game? I mean, come on, it's a tough sport. People are going to get hurt, and obviously, if it would have been even so intentional, there would have been probably more ramifications.
Like I said, what Gudas did was horrible, and I can tell this guy did not listen to the beginning of the podcast where we literally talked about someone wanting another player to purposely get hurt in the next game, and they come out and say that. I'm gonna say I don't wish anyone to get injured at all. I honestly I wish that play never happened for Gudas. It was the wrong play on Gudas, 100%. I'm not doubting that, but I don't wish anyone else to get injured.
Yeah. Well, let's move on, Cody. We've spent enough time on this.
Yeah.
We've got all our predictions. What else do you want to talk about, or are we ready to sign off for?
We can also talk about, like I said, I know we said at the beginning, but for people that are just now tuning in, but there will be no live stream next week. We will have an episode next week, but it's gonna be a pre-recorded one. It's not gonna be a normal episode. It's gonna be a special episode. So just be on the lookout for that. That one will come out on, what did I say, the 23rd? Yeah, on Monday the 23rd. So yeah. Adam says absolutely terrible. It's one thing to hit him in open ice, but it's another to go after the knee. No, like I said, what Gudas did was, like I said, horrible. But we'll move on from that. We talked about it a lot in the beginning. But anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
I'm good.
Yeah, special like me.
He is special.
I am very special.
Totally agree.
But other than that, like I said, we'll miss you guys next week. Yeah, I've skated twice my whole life, I think. So yeah, I've never. You guys have clearly never. Yeah, never skated. I want to, but there's no open ice near me. So it's not like I don't want to. But on that, everyone, please go follow us at Royally Quacked on all social media platforms. Please on YouTube, like, subscribe. It'd really help us out. What was I going to say? What else? Go follow us on Twitch. You can also watch live there. You would see more about the knee on knee if you skated. I mean, I've played other sports, and I can tell you, I've had people purposely try to injure me in other sports. I know it's a lot more dangerous on ice and skates, but I've seen on other. But like I said, I've had guys try to take me out in other games and stuff like that. So, like I said, I know. I've had it I played soccer, baseball, even basketball. Yeah, Adam, you've skated 5 games this week and still have 1 more tonight. I have room to talk crap. I think you would talk crap no matter what. So,
True.
But everyone, yeah, please go follow everything. Go follow the Mighty Ducks Club. Hit the download. Leave a rating and a review on Apple and Spotify. We would really appreciate it. On that, you have anything else to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, just go Kings, go.
All right, and let's go Ducks. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Next 2 weeks, guys.
A father and son, a bond so strong, talking hockey all day long. Royally Quacked, their podcast show, sharing stories, highs and lows. From the Kings to the Ducks they go, shout and go Kings.